I'm talking to Scott, Stefan, and I believe we have Noah and Piper there as well, guys. How you doing?
Good, thank
Hey.
you.
It's good. I just came off a bit of a rough night with my son. I think I got about 4 hours sleep. He woke up 6 times. How was your night?
Actually, pretty similar, actually. She decided that it was a bit too warm last night, so she wanted to come and see us. So.
We had an exceptionally good night last night, which was great. So yeah, he slept for nearly 7 hours.
Really?
Yay.
That's great. I kind of want to talk about your manual here. Now, I've heard many experts say there is no manual for having a baby, but you've written one for dads. Why have you done this?
We felt there was nothing out there that really sort of presented a perspective from a father's point of view, and was at the same time not only funny but also practical. Had some real sort of photos in there to show how you do things, and all the books and the material that we've seen featured mums and babies, and it was either too technical or too detailed, and it was the doorstopper book with 500 pages. So we thought, right, we need something that's practical, funny, and that just works for dads.
The book covers everything from a birth plan, which I kind of really, I knew a little bit about, but when the birth came, it kind of sort of took me by surprise. So you cover that kind of stuff. You also cover things not to say to your partner while she's in labour. Did all the information come from the top of your head? Was it your own experience, or did you draw from other sources as well?
We've drawn from our own experiences with different, with what happened with our wives and partners, and also from other people, what they'd experienced as well, and also things that we could have said but didn't. So, and luckily we did.
We've got a really great community of people on DIYfather.com who have gone through the same experience, and we've gone out to them and said, let's just make this a little bit funny, and we've got some great responses, and many of the ones that are featured in the book actually came from the community of DIYfather.com.
Oh, great. So it's a whole bunch of fathers getting together and creating the resource.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also sharing their information, because, we're only 3 guys trying to put together a book of, 200 pages. So it was great to have, other people's stories and things like that, yeah.
What's your favourite song to sing to your kids?
The Grand Old Duke of York.
That's my favourite too, or one of my favourites.
Yeah.
Now, you talk at length about the role of fathers, the old dad versus the new dad in the book. And I kind of want to know, where did that idea come from? Is that sort of something, again, that you sort of either got from the website or grabbed out of your heads? It's a very different thing today being a dad than it was in the past.
From just where we're at these stages, looking back through, I guess, our parents and hearing from other people's fathers about how they weren't allowed in the labour room and things like that. So I guess we kind of came up with the idea of the old dad versus the new dad, and how I guess evolution within inside that has changed as well, and how I guess new fathers are wanting to be there and be a lot more supportive and being in the role, and becoming stay-at-home dads as well. So I guess it's changed as well.
Stefan, did you have a personal experience of having an old dad like I did?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, talk about a new generation of dads. It was quite funny while we were doing the book. I came across a little booklet that my dad was given by my mum when I was born to kind of record, I guess, his thoughts and just like keep a diary almost. And it was great because the first day he actually did write and all his what happened that day and all that. And it was about 2 or 3 pages in the diary. And then the next day it was about half a page. And then on the third day it was a sentence. And then after that he stopped writing. So, and I've had a really great experience with my dad, I have to say. But it just goes to show that, I don't think he's ever changed me, did a nappy change or anything. So in his time, it was all about providing rather than caring. And now, of course, the new generation of dads, certainly I would want to have the full spectrum of experiences. I don't just want to bring home the money. I want to be there and, the good and the bad. And as a result, I think you actually experience fatherhood in the fullness of it rather than just one angle of it. It's just a completely new world that unless you've had the experience of having a child yourself, I don't think you can fully appreciate. So the energy, the fun, sometimes the frustration that you get from that's a lot of inspiration for me. And I also notice myself when, sometimes maybe you don't do things, you look back at a situation, you go, oh, I could have done that better. And then you try something out. I mean, we're working with so many organizations out there who've got, tips of things you can try out when they're throwing a tantrum, or just to make your life easier as you're caring for them. And just to then see him coming out with a huge smile on his face and go, yeah, that worked.
Tell us, what are those moments that are really special to you about being dads?
I think it's all the stages to be honest. It's when they're born. It's when they start crawling, when they start walking. It's when they can start feeding themselves. When they do little words, and when they see something, for example, and they have a big smile, or they get excited over little things which you kind of forget are important to you, and you just see them as everyday things. But to them, every day is a whole new world.
Yeah.
And I mean, for me, it started with something that I actually didn't really think about and wasn't keen on doing, which was cutting the cord when he was born. But I ended up doing it anyway, and it did kind of feel special, to be honest. And I bonded with Noah instantly when he was born, when the doctor pulled him out, and it was like, wow, he's there, and this is, I had that instant bond with him. So that was certainly a very special moment. But like Scott said, since then there have been so many kind of different moments that actually don't mean a lot unless you were there at the time. When he suddenly, you could suddenly tell that he got something you were trying to explain, or you had the first sort of time a two-way communication when he threw the ball back at you, and you were like, wow, he actually got it. We're playing ball, and so there's hundreds of those moments which are just really cool to experience. My appreciation for what it means to be a parent has gone up a lot.
Nice. Scott, Stefan, Noah and Piper, it was a pleasure talking to you today. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.